Nah, I had to figure out how they regarded me because usually, obviously the way I've been shooting, I expected a little bit more aggressiveness at the ball, and they were funneling me, and I was making all the wrong decisions. I just had to kind of settle down and figure out what the look was, and then see one shot go down, and we clawed our way back into the game and gave ourselves some life, so that was good after that 12-0 start, and then just scrapped the rest of the way. And obviously, if there's time left and me and Draymond in a pick and roll, good things happen.
Stephen, talking to McKillop a while back, this was a few years ago, and he said even before he noticed your shot, the first thing he noticed about you was that you don't let mistakes bother you. You just play right through them. Where'd that come from that you just, it goes away in a second?
It came from him. He taught me next play mentality. My first game as a freshman, I had 13 turnovers, and he left me out there to work through it, and that was the first time I heard that term, and I can't get it out of my head. So it's a lifestyle. You make mistakes, you keep it moving, keep your confidence, never doubt yourself. Just got to figure it out.
Steph, this is obviously 11 now with 30 or more. You passed Kobe. Are you conscious of the numbers that you've been putting up and that the records that you're breaking now all the time?
I mean, from Wilt's last week and then this streak, I'm obviously aware, but it's you don't put too much pressure on yourself. You just play basketball. I think for the first time in that third quarter, I started to press a little bit down the stretch, and they started to pick up the intensity on the ball and rush a couple shots. Couldn't figure it out, and he came out with that look. He got one right in my face on the wing. And it's just like old times. I always love the opportunity to play. I mean, we're both in the NBA, playing against each other, creating memories. It's special. It's nothing to take for granted. Thankfully I figured it out down the stretch, but that first quarter was rough because he made it rough.
Was there any chatter during that? I'm sorry. Was there any chatter during the game between you two?
There was always. But at the end of the day, especially in the fourth quarter, I didn't have to say much.
Hey, Steph. Steve talked about how you average 5.7 miles a game. And obviously it takes a huge toll on your body to be scoring 50 points night in and night out. How do you sustain your energy throughout a game?
I've been blessed with a certain skill set and approach to the game that I've worked on year after year after year. And, that work does pay off. The summers are hard. Like, they're the hardest times of the year because I really build up that intensity and have a certain program that gets me in shape and gets me ready to sustain that over the course of the season. With the staff here, Brandon Payne, who has been with me for the last 10 years. So all those things come out during the season because I put the time in, and nobody really sees it besides my crew, but that is that's what I rely on to be myself throughout the course of the season.
Mark Haynes, obviously your ankle isn't, it wasn't 100% because you was questionable. But the fact that you was playing against your brother today, did that give you any extra motivation to get out there?
For sure. Some reason, I don't know, somebody could probably look it up. We've missed a lot of opportunities to play against each other because of injuries, even back when he was in SAC like 4 or 5 years ago. So this 10th time we played. And I knew it was the last opportunity this season. So, yeah, definitely wanted to. It would have taken a lot for me not to play.
Hey, Steph.
You block out a lot of the noise that, you always talk about not letting the noise get to you. But there's a lot of superlatives now, a lot of, people raving about what you've done with your career and what you meant to the game. Is that tougher to block out, or is that the kind of dialogue you like hearing?
It's,
That was a deep question, huh?
It was. It's flattering, but it's nothing I wake up and like yearn for. But I appreciate the respect and appreciation for what I'm able to do out there on the court. However people want to talk about it, but it doesn't change, again, how I approach the game and my belief in myself and my team and, what I'm capable of doing. So it's easy to block out. Y'all know I do read and hear all the stuff, so it's entertaining at a certain point how things can flip and flop. But at the end of the day, it's just go out and hoop, play well. As long as you're in some type of conversation, then you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Hey, Steph, Dave Melanger here in Philadelphia. Can you just talk about what you mean to break the record?
I've seen Kobe Bryant, early in his career had a stretch where he went nuts, and obviously Michael Jordan had some stretches where he just scored like crazy. But obviously nobody's ever shot the ball like this in the history of the game. And even by Steph's own lofty standards, this is above and beyond.
Steve, are you approaching this like a no-hitter? I mean, what do you even say to him at this point?
Nice shot.
You mentioned Kevon Looney and Draymond Green. And how encouraging is it to see when you have such a limited amount of bigs do this against one of the best centers in the league? Does it kind of make you not relax against other teams, but just reassure you even more that you can get it done with just two bigs right now?
Yeah, I mean, that's, the biggest thing with Loon is that he's healthy. This is a guy who has helped us win playoff games and finals games. So we knew what we had in Loon. We just didn't know if he could stay healthy. Last year was a really tough year for him. So it's so great, amidst all these crazy injuries we've had over the last 3 years, to see Kevon healthy and playing the way he is just awesome. And then Draymond is Draymond. He's one of the great defenders in the history of the game. I think he's the best defender in the game today because of what you have to do as a big these days, guarding pick and roll, switching onto the perimeter, protecting the rim, helping. Draymond is incredible. So those two guys are holding it down for us right now.
What's it been like to have the fans back in the arena as you've been on the road lately?
It's huge. There's just a different energy in the building, and it's so nice. And it's a reminder that we're slowly but surely getting through this pandemic. But it's wonderful to hear the fans and hear the oohs and the ahs when Steph's making a shot, or the cheers for the Sixers when they're doing something. And this is how it's supposed to be. So I really look forward to when everybody's back.
How do you think you see the Sixers going forward the rest of the season after playing them twice? Sixers? Yes.
I really like their chances. They were obviously severely shorthanded tonight without Ben and Harris. So that's not that wasn't their team. They were shorthanded, and if they're healthy, they're really good. They're a great two-way team. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league, and they cause a lot of problems offensively too. So it's a hell of a team.
Steve, how do you feel as the coach when you see a defense that's deciding not to double Steph?
Well, it's it's easier said than done, Marcus. And I just, when you commit to the ball against Steph, you have to do it at half court. So it's not like any other traditional superstar that you got to send to maybe at the 3-point line or at the elbow, and you can pull your defense in. If you're going to send two to Steph, you have to send two to half court. And then these are NBA players. 4-on-3 is pretty easy. So having said that, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody does that soon.
How did you like the element of Kelly off the bench tonight and how he contributed?
I thought Kelly was great. He stayed ready. He brought energy. He used his athleticism and his length, made some good defensive plays. And he was good, especially for having missed the last couple of weeks. So it's good for him to get his legs back.
Steve, you've seen different players in different sports sort of run